Welcome to the Agentpreneur Podcast. I have the one and only Gail DeMarco here from Florida, and I'm here in the Pacific. Now, I'm not in the Pacific Northwest anymore. I'm in Arizona. I've been in the Pacific Northwest too long. But we've teamed up. We're doing the Agentpreneur Podcast. We're excited to bring it to you. Good morning, Gail DeMarco.
Good morning, Coach Byrd.
What's
Super
up,
excited
baby?
to be here. Only you, I would do this on a Sunday. On a
I know
Sunday,
that's
because
true.
that's my day off.
Actually, what day is it today? Are you sure?
It's Friday.
Oh my God, we were having such fun. It was like Thursday last week. You're like, no, we're not meeting till Friday, which is in 2 days. And I'm like, oh, I thought today was Thursday. So I start telling people it's only Wednesday. You screwed me all up. And then I look at my calendar later, it's actually Thursday. And so I'm like, no, it is tomorrow. And you're like, what day is it? We literally laughed. And that's what happens when you're entrepreneurs, when you're in the market to be in the market, right? Sometimes the days blur, but that was a crack
Uh,
up. I was having fun with that.
and I'll tell you what, I mean, what spun me around last week was I literally had five different YouTube buyers in town. I felt like the old days when you had two dates on the same night. Like, who am I having dinner with? Okay, I'm having dinner with them. Or where are they going? They're going to Nocatee. Oh, they're going to Ponte Vedra. So it was like balls to the walls. It was crazy. So
Oh,
yeah, I apologize
no,
because
it's okay. Actually, I think that is that's what we hang our hat on is it doesn't matter what day of the week, we're just slaying dragons and building business. And we're going to talk about that because you just moved from basically the West Coast, Sacramento area, and you moved all the way to Florida because of your mom. We'll get into some of those stories and conversations now or in later podcasts, but you basically started fresh. And I love it because I used to teach a thing where it's like, drop me out of an airplane anywhere and I'll show you how to do 25 deals in the first year. And that came from my coaching days at Tom Ferry. But you actually did it. You accomplished it. You're crushing it. What are you going to do this year in production, actually?
well, I'm hoping to do 60 million this year. Last
60 million. And you've been in Florida all of not even 3 years yet, right?
Yeah, last year was 45 million, so I'm hoping to up it by that. And right now, it looks like I'm on track to do that,
That's amazing.
including I'm taking a 5 week vacation, hitting the road in the end of June. So I've just been really ramping up for that. I think about that program 75 hard. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do 90-day hard, where you can go hard 90 days, because that's what you and I both coach our agents to do,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
And then you see the benefits, right? I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, you know what? People are all in. They'll take the pain in their body. I watch, like, there's this one agent, really good friend of mine, Jason, Jason Hamilton, and he has crushed it on the track and everything. And I'm like, dude, if you took that energy and you put it towards your business, holy shit, if you could get
Yeah.
up at 4 in the morning and you can go run marathons, why wouldn't you be selling 50 million a year? I mean, it,
Yeah.
it blows my mind, but it's something that you can see immediately physically, but it's something when we're doing real estate, you can see in your bank account. And to me, that's powerful.
It is powerful. And you just touched on something. It's the passion, right? What gets people up at 4 in the
Yeah.
morning to go run? That's passion, that's dedication, that's discipline, that's maybe a goal that's important to them. But then agents enter the real estate business and they're agentpreneurs, right? They're all alone. They could take the day
Right.
off if they want to, or they could wake up at 4 a.m. and slay it. It's totally up to them. There's nobody telling them what to do. And that is both the cross and the crutch, right? That's the challenge with it. But let's do this. Let's talk about bios real quick. Um, so let me ask you, how long in the real estate business, and you were in the luxury market and outside the Sacramento area. Walk us through that, just kind of a brief summary of your bio so people understand.
Well, thank God I've only been doing this 14 years. Because I had a great life before real estate. I had
Yeah.
a phenomenal life. I traveled the world with my job. I was a professional photographer and a commercial photographer. So my, two big clients, Trader Joe's, and I worked a lot with Harley Davidson. So all the motorcycle magazines, I was everywhere. And my weddings took me to Scotland, to England, to castles.
Wow.
And then I had a really bad accident on one of my horses, and my hand was in a cast for 2 years. And I'd canceled one of the appointments I had. He was a real estate agent, his headshot. And he's like, he had showed up anyway. He never got my message. And he's like, you should be a realtor. I'm like, that sounds horrible. I go, why would I want I go, that sounds like the most boring job in the world, because I was thinking paperwork and all that sort of thing. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. But
Yeah.
I couldn't use my right hand. So when you can't use your right hand, it's like losing your eyesight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been in there less
And
than
you
14
were,
years.
you're skimming on the surface, but you were Easy Rider magazine. You were around
Yep.
all these celebrities, around all these, world figures, and all of a sudden that life changed. You went into real estate, and what market were you in Sacramento?
Well, I was in El Dorado Hills.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
higher
so El
end
Dorado
luxury.
Hills.
I remember when we met, when we first started coaching and met, which is a great story. I want to tell it, but
Hmm.
you were doing almost over $1 million GCI, right? Is that correct?
Correct. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And that was
So
splitting it. So it
yeah,
was actually over
1.3
2 million.
million GCI, right?
That was split, correct. And I was splitting it 50-50 because I had a partner. So
Right, right, right. So, when agents hear that, they just go, "Oh my gosh, that's like seven figures a year. That means you're 100,000 a month in
100,
GCI,
yep,
which stands for gross commission income for those that don't understand. But
correct.
that's a significant amount of money, and it takes a lot of structures and systems and things to put that in place. But did you find that easy or hard compared to what you thought it would be when you entered?
Well, you know what? When you have that big enough why, right? You don't think about hard because I've been to India a couple of times. I've watched people make bricks in 110 degrees on the side of the freeway. That's hard work. What
Right,
we do is not, it's like the hard thing is battling every morning, what to do to make it happen. When I got
right.
into this, I had just gone through a divorce. I had $1,000 in the bank account because it all happened really quick, 22 horses and a 12-year-old daughter. So like,
Mm.
I'll never forget. It was I had a big hay truck delivery coming, right? And it was $6,000, and I'm thinking, holy fuck, how am I going to pay for this? I needed the
Right,
hay. I
right.
didn't know how I was going to pay for it, and I go. I know this sounds bad, right? But I'm like, what if he wants to go in the barn with me? I was like, what can I do to get this hay?
We gotta
Right?
we gotta pimp our body out to pay
I
for hay.
was
That's a
like,
bad day.
they did not have OnlyFans 14 years ago. Okay. So it wasn't like I didn't know what to do. And I really like I got on my knees and I just prayed so hard and I said, all right, God, and I just remember bawling, right? Because I was just devastated and I didn't know exactly. And I was next, inside of the barn. And I just remember that movie Gone with the Wind, where I will never ever be poor again, right? I'll do whatever the fuck it takes to
Right,
make this shit happen.
right.
And here comes the hay truck. Guy comes out. He looks like Duck's Dynasty, the long beard. We're like, oh, hell no. I'm not flirting with this guy. I'm not going to tell him my sob story. And I just said, I go, and it was a really hard turnaround like that. I mean, it was like, 10-point turn.
Yeah,
I said to him, I go, I don't even know how to tell you this. I don't have the money. And, I'm bawling. I go, can I just get a couple of bales of hay for me or something like this? I have enough to buy like 10 bales. It was a truck
right.
transfer. And he said to me, looked at me, and he goes, what about that thing? And he was pointing at this truck that I had. It's called the green thing, okay? And that was something we used to take all the kids out. It was like had a hydraulic lift. We used to take the kids out during Halloween. We called it the green thing.
Yeah.
And it was packed with garbage because my husband was an asshole and he left me with the truck with full of like junk. And I was like, I go, you want that? He's like, yeah. I go, take it. I ran in, got the green slip. He came back the next day. I got the hay. He got the green thing.
Oh my
I'll
God.
never forget when I'll just call him Todd. And he came back and goes, where's my truck? I go, fuck you, right? I was like, your truck is
That
gone.
truck is gone and your trash.
And your trash,
Yeah,
take
you should
that
have
to the
given him the
dump.
forwarding address where he's at to dump the trash at his place. Oh my God,
Exactly.
that's
So I had a big why, right? I
yeah,
was not going to ever have my back against the wall. I was not going to. I just gone through a bankruptcy. I just lost my house. We had beautiful 10-acre place because the market had crashed. It was back in 2009. I, of course, paid the top of on the top of the market. We had
of
piggyback
course.
loans, all that bullshit. So lost everything. And I was like, and I back then, Brandy, I thought the only way I'd ever get a house again would if I married somebody who had money, right? Or if I met
Right.
somebody. And let me tell you, and all that. That's a whole nother story. So I just decided, screw that. I'm never ever going to put my future in anybody else's man, woman,
Amen.
anybody. I'm not going to do that. So that's what got me out of bed and got me going. And I figure, how do you do this? But you know, Randy, people did not share back then.
No.
Okay. It's like,
No.
you think I'm going to go into Sotheby's and ask these people, or Remax, and how do I do this? Right?
Right.
They don't give a shit. It's just like,
Yeah, no, they're actually protecting their secrets, you and I both came from that industry. I was in the Keller Williams world, and I was even the owner of the office, and I was trying to, Keller Williams culture was to share and to build, and the
right,
Y, 4C, 2Ts, and all this thing where you have this collective energy that you're growing, and they invented the revenue share model. It was a profit share model, which is a fouled model, unfortunately, because profit share is manipulated and can be manipulated. But that was the idea. And then I saw all my top producers with their door closed and their numbers up on the back wall of where the door is, so you can't look in their window and see what their numbers are, see the
right,
addresses, see the clients. And I started seeing fractures in that. And I remember being in Keller Williams one day, and I remembered that I had this client. I was a producing team leader, which is rare, and actually caused part of the demise of that is they wanted me bad enough that they took me and my team from Remax and promised a whole bunch of stuff to get me to Keller Williams, and it caused a rift between the owners that previously Keller Williams
right.
said you can't be a team leader, get paid a salary, and be in production. It's just
Sure.
doesn't work together, right? There's a conflict of interest, but they allowed me to do it, and that created some challenges. But I remember this client walking in the front desk, going, "Is Randy Byrd here?" I come out from the back of my team leader's office. I meet with the client in the meeting room, and this agent in my office, one of the top producers, walks by, recognizes the client as somebody he's been working with as well, and all of a
Right.
sudden, instead of that, "Hey, how you doing? You're in great hands with Randy," it got weird. And it was like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And all of a sudden it was like, "Well, we both know this client." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is my client. We're getting ready to list their property." And he's like, "But that's my client." And it's in front of the client. And then so as the team leader, I start trying to back down just to support my client, support my office and all this stuff. It's awkward. And I realized that we're really not partners in this, right? We're really
No.
not partners. We might
He's
be financially aligned because I brought him in under me in Keller Williams' seventh level profit share, but he didn't want nothing to do with that. He ended up leaving the brokerage over it. It was a big, big thing. They started making it stronger about the team leader not being in production and competing with the agents, which I actually agree with on the surface. But you're absolutely right. We were in silos back then where EXP, like we're both aligned with EXP now, it truly is alignment of the agents, and they get paid responsibly from the broker's side of the profit from that. And even like you and I are not aligned financially in our organizations, although, we're all under Brent if the in the big scheme of things. But if you called and asked me for something, I'm going to give you the world just because number one, I like you as a person. But number two, all ships rise with the rising tide with EXP, right? That's the special part of this. All
yes.
ships rise with the rising tide. So the stocks are affected. All these things are affected. But that's my soapbox a little bit. And I love
Here's
your
the
background
thing.
story. And I never heard your Hay story before.
I haven't told that Hayes
Something
story.
tells me we got a lot of shit to talk about when we sit around a campfire. I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh. But you know what, Randy? You and I always have come from the same mindset where, I mean, I actually hired you as a coach. Like I met you the first, like before I even came on to EXP, right?
That's
It was
right.
like a Zoom call. You were in the back, but you've always come from that giving. I'll tell you anything. I'll put my arms around you. Even before I was coaching with you. And I've always been an open book too, even photography. I remember people would
Yeah.
come into my photography studio and pretend they weren't photographers because they
Yeah.
wanted to look at my albums.
Right.
So now we can do it and reap the benefits from it.
Yeah.
But
And do
it's,
it with integrity and do it
yeah,
with, I mean, listen, I think we all need to help each other. I talk to agents at other companies all the time. I go, "Yeah, I'll help you with that." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Why not?" I mean, why doesn't your broker offer these
right.
kind of opportunities, right?
Exactly.
So,
100% there. So
uh,
how
uh,
did you, I need to know, how did you, because I know you were a contractor,
yeah.
right? And you're half holy, half hood, and I love
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
whole
that's right.
thing. So tell me about that because
it's just such a heartwarming, loving story of my absolute care for the human being. That's complete bullshit. I did it because I was greedy. So I literally was a contractor and I was bootstrapping. When I got my contractor's license, I was door knocking door to door saying, "Hey, I'm Randy Byrd. I'm presentable. I dress nice. I've got a nice vehicle. I'd like to see if you want some work done in your home." I was in the San Mateo, San Bruno, Burlingame area in the Bay Area, a higher end area. And I was just like, I'm sure you would like somebody that you could trust in your home that's going to be responsible, respectful, not steal from you. And I just was just crushing it door to door. Within
Right.
months, I was booked up for 6 months. Within another 6 months, I was booked up for a year in advance as a contractor. And I loved it. I thought I'd hit the
Yeah.
gold mine. I was making a lot of money and buying boats with cash and doing all the things. And it was really a beautiful profession, but I started getting physically hurt. I hurt my back lifting up something one time. That never gets fixed when you're doing construction the next day, carrying concrete and bags of sand and everything else. And
Yeah.
even though I progressed to where I was in a position where I could have rode around the truck all day and had laborers, at one time we had 30 employees. I was still a physical guy. I've always been that way. I've always been in great shape because of the physical holding drywall up and just a working boss. But it was getting worse, and I started honestly. I was taking Vicodin every morning to put my boots on, and I knew mentally not to get addicted, but I was addicted, meaning that I knew I couldn't take three, four, five of these a day because that was how my buddies that were addicted acted. And I was like, I'm just going to
Right.
do one every morning. That's not addiction. I understand, right? And so I was taking one every morning at 5:30 in the morning to put my boots on after coffee. And then on a bad day, I'd take another one at lunch to get through the rest of the day. And then I met with my doctor, Amy Shaw in Santa Rosa. I remember her saying, "How long have you been doing these?" And I said, "About a year." And she goes, "How many do you take?" And I go, "Never more than two, but usually just one a day." And she's like, "Randy, you're addicted to those." I'm like, "There's no way. I'm not an addictive personality." She goes, "You're addicted." And I go, "Fuck that. Watch this. Hold my beer." And I quit. And I'm like, "I'll never take another one." And I haven't. And she was like, "You can't do that. You're addicted." I'm like, "I'm not addicted." Well, guess what? My body was addicted. So when I
Mm.
quit taking Vicodin, all of a sudden I could feel the freaking hair on my arm hurt. Everything on my body hurt because my body was addicted to the response and to numbing that pain. And so all of a sudden everything that hurt in my body was just amplified and it was horrible. And I remember going, okay, I will never be addicted to anything again, right? And so like I had surgery and I'm like, nope, don't want that shit. Just give me something that's non-addictive, right? I'm very cognizant of that. But that was a big deal in my life. And so what happened is she said, "You need to change professions. You're not going to be able to walk straight up. You're going to have back issues." And I'm 40 years old, right? This doesn't sound like a good end of my
Yeah.
life. And so 22 years ago, I was building a house in Sonoma County and, we got done with it, putting it up for sale. And I might have made 70 grand over the last 6, 7 months on this particular project. And I remember this little cute girl walked up on a Friday and we're still doing trim and finishing things up, open house on Saturday, Sunday, throws a sign in the yard herself that she got out of her car, high heels sticking in the grass. Just, you could picture it, right? Little cute thing puts a sign in the yard on Friday. We finish up, touch up paint, get out of there, does an open house, sells it Saturday. I come back Monday. It's got a sold sign on it. And I'm like, damn, what did she do anyway? And I saw her put a sign in the yard and do an open house. And I go, how much does she make on that? And the owner that hired us goes, it's 6%. I think she double ended it. And I go, what's that equal? I think it was probably a $500,000 house. So I was like, so she made 30 grand in freaking 12 minutes. And I made 70 grand in 7 months. And my boots have been wet for 7 months. My freaking haven't cleaned out my floorboards from fast food. I go, I'm getting my real estate license. This has got to be easier than this shit. And I literally got my real estate license because I go, I'm flipping houses. I could double end them. I mean, this is just a made in heaven. Why didn't I think of this? I'm an idiot. So I go, I'm gonna buy the house. I'm gonna do the construction. I'm gonna sell it myself when I'm done. I'm gonna double end all these sides of things. I control the vendors. I got my own plumbers. I go, this is brilliant. And I literally got my license in Santa Rosa at CPS that was later bought out by, I think, Prudential, that was bought out by Compass and Pacific Union, all this shit. But anyway,
Right.
I never sold a house in Sonoma County. I was licensed for about 6 or 7 months. I was just going to sell my own things. And my ex-wife, Melody, rest her soul, my boys' mom committed suicide a couple of years ago is why I say that. And we'll dig into
Uh,
that in other podcasts. There's a lot of the reason that, I am who I
well,
am today is because of the tragedy I've had in my life and starting over and, like you said, bankruptcies, all these things. Most of these winners I find today had some tragedy in their financial life and their family life. And, we share some of that. But to wrap this story up, my ex-wife at the time, or my wife at the time said, let's move to Redding, California. My sister's there. There's a bunch of cool friends there. We were going through some shit in Sonoma County, and I was ready for a fresh start as well. So I literally moved to an area I knew nobody, and I knew
right.
three people I was related to two, and I started real estate. And I walked in, I looked at the number one office in town, it happened to be Coldwell Banker CNC Properties in Redding, California. And I walked in the summer of 2003, and I interviewed, and I wore the nicest suit. I didn't own suits. Fuck, I'd never been to anything except like the presidential dinner at the Builders Exchange that I was the president of or something. But I put on the only suit I had. I walked in and I interviewed for this job. I went through the front desk to the office manager to I got to meet the broker myself. I mean, I met Steve Kraft, the broker, myself. I got to shake his hand. It felt like that to me. And I
Right.
went in there and he goes, "You are the kind of agent we're looking for. I'd like to offer your position here." And I said, "No shit." I literally went home, told Melody, I go, I landed a job at the number one office in Redding, California. They sell like thousands of homes a year. And I got the job the first interview. Little did I know if you could fog a mirror, you got the job, right? But I thought it was something special. And so I went in there and I just started busting my ass right away. If everybody started at 8, I was there at 6:30 or 7. I was doing all the things and went on to be very successful because I came from a place of I will, I'm not going to be denied. And I was scared shitless because I knew three people related to two, right? Literally. I mean, I knew my wife's sister and I knew her fiance kind of husband. And then I knew one other guy that I met from going to the lake so many times up there. We loved Lake Shasta. And so that was my sphere of influence was one freaking person. And so what do you do when you know about nobody? You go start
Right.
kissing babies, shaking hands, running for the mayor. And I started walking around town, knocking on doors, meeting business owners. And in my very first year, I made rookie of the year, but I made over 100 grand in GCI my very first year in at Coldwell Banker, and I got paid 33 grand. So I got my 1099. I wasn't there a full year. I was there, I think, about 8 months, and I got 33 grand. And I'm like, I'm broke. I mean, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm homeless. This 33, I can't live on 33 grand. So I
Right.
remember going in there going, hey, I didn't know the commission splits. I was on a 65-35. And for the agents listening, I was on the bad side of the 65. I got 35 plus a 6% franchise fee at Coldwell Banker. And so they go, we're going to move you up to 45, but we don't do this for everybody, but you're doing really good. And I left there going, okay, now I'm on a 45 plus 6%. I'm still on a 39% split. I go, that just can't be what everybody's on. And I remember I didn't know any better. You know what you don't know. And so I went back to work, and then Remax called me and said, hey, how you doing? We got 100% split over here. I said, 100%? Like, how do you make any money? They go, well, we just charge a little desk fee, and then you get 100% of every check. And by the way, you did like 11 transactions last year. We did the math on that. You're going to make 30 or 40 grand more just by moving over. And I'm like, that can't be right. And so I immediately put in my notice and I said, hey, if you guys can't kind of match this a little bit, I got to go to Remax. They're like, we'll hold the door, is what they told me. We'll hold the door for you. You'll be back. Do you know how expensive it is to be at Remax? And I go, they said it's a flat fee and I get 100%. So long story short, I go Remax. I start at the beginning of the year so I could have a real full year at this new office. A lot of agents move in December for that reason. Mentally, we think we're resetting like
Right.
cleanly, right? Number one agent moving month is December because of that, right? So I move, I start the fresh new year. I do 44 transactions in my first full year of real estate because it was like 7 or 8 months at Coldwell Banker, then 1 year at Remax. I did 338,000 my very first full year in real estate. I sold 43 or 44 transactions. Did some multifamily that I negotiated sub two seller finance, just a bunch of creative stuff. And I was like, I'm in my wheelhouse. I found my jam. This is now 2004. I make the Platinum Club, which is over 250 GCI. I crushed that. And I never looked back, Gail. That literally, I was like, this is the easiest thing on the planet. All I'm doing is knocking on doors, talking to people and helping people sell. And then as a contractor, I started getting clients that appreciated the fact that I was a general contractor with 20 years experience in that industry. And, I was the chair of the Economic Development Commission, all these things. And it was just the start of a beautiful career. And that was, now 23 years ago. And I did that full time for years, became number one Remax agent. Keller Williams came to town and, offered me the world there. But long story short is I started coaching about 10 years ago and have never looked back. I love helping agents. I love
You're an incredible
thank you.
coach.
And the way we met, I mean, I think we're going to talk about this a lot on our podcast. And if you're listening to us now, the Agentpreneur Podcast is alive and well. Gail and I are going to be doing this, on a weekly rotation. And we're also going to be traveling and speaking. We just committed to doing that with each other and for each other. She's fucking amazing on stage. She is just an absolute beast on stage, thinks she sucks. I'm okay on stage. She thinks I'm great. It's just a great combination. We love each other. The energy's high, and I can't wait for that. But, we're going to talk about a lot of that in the future. And what is the agent entrepreneur? To me, it's agents helping agents, building community, breaking down the silos and the barriers of how you kick ass in this business. And it's more than just get out there and just do it. It's more than, a lot of people just say, you've got the inspiration, now go put in the perspiration. I like that statement. It's like one of my favorite guys, Tom Daves, number one Keller Williams agent in the world, not once, not twice, but 7 times as one of my partners in my business. That's alignment, right?
Right.
But it's more than that. There are tactical components. There's systems and processes. There are things that we need to do. And Gail, this is what I love about it. I am a great coach. I appreciate that. I am a great coach. I have the ability to pull people out of what holding them back and get them to move themselves to the next level. That is a skill set that comes, and I give all that credit to Tom Ferry. He taught me everything, and I'm blessed. Him and Bill
You
Pipes were
also
my
have the
personal
gift of
coaches.
you have the gift of calling bullshit. I mean, you fired me like 3 times.
Yes, you needed it. Your ass was not doing what you said you were going to do, not what I said you were going to do, right? It's
I
like
was too busy doing stuff I shouldn't be doing.
that's exactly right.
Right.
And it's really just that mirror, right? Is that prism of reflection from the outside looking in, that third party can look at it more clearly. But you're an animal, you're a beast. And when you take on a client that's doing over 1 million GCI, and then you tell them that, hey, you're not doing your shit, and this is not going to be a good fit for us. We're all ego driven, we're success driven, we're winners. And so sometimes there's motivation behind that, but
You can't fire me. You're the person I look
watch,
forward to
yeah,
most
hold
during the
my
week.
beer. Well, what I love, literally what I love about you, and this is going to be a love-hate relationship affair, that's for sure, because I love your husband more than I love you. You love my wife, Kirsty, more than you love me. And that's what makes
True.
this magical, as both of them know that when we're together, the room lights up. And there's something to be said for
Don't
that.
even come in the room. I won't even let my husband in the room. I'm like, no,
I
you're not.
know.
There's no
Yeah,
way.
Kirsty just rolls her eyes. She just rolls her eyes. She's like, "Oh my God, here goes Randy and Gail," But I, I love this because this is going to be raw and real as we progress. If you're still listening to this podcast, tune into it, favorite it. It's going to get real. It's going to get fun, and we're also going to really invite you into a community that's free. I mean, our community is free to hang out with us, right? Obviously, we'd love to have you as business partners, but that's secondary. I mean, I think once you get to know, like, and trust somebody, then you could decide if it's a business decision. But we're going to take this show to the road. We're going to take this show to the airways. And I couldn't be more excited about it. Matter of fact, this is Sunday. We're doing our first call together because
Right.
we're excited we're fired up. She thought it was fucking Tuesday, so it doesn't matter to Gail. But um, the reality is, I'm excited about this, Gail. I'm excited about it. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to align with us. And I've been at Coldwell Banker and Remax and owned a Keller Williams office, owned a Remax office, or was an escrow to buy it at least when Keller Williams swooped me away. And you came from, I think it was Sotheby's, right?
Sotheby's, yeah. And honestly, Randy, the opportunity to really get granular on what I'm doing that anybody can do. I mean, my husband came home. He's working today too because we're trying to get out of town in a couple of weeks. So he's like, "My God, these people think you're God." He goes, "You got them epoxying the garage floor. You got them
Whatever you say.
storage. Yeah, how did that
And
happen?"
that's your husband,
And
Todd, asking the question.
right, exactly. So, I am so excited to really talk to many, right? Because so many agents, rather than just talk to one at a time,
Yeah.
for you and I to get together, share what you're doing, because my God, I mean, I used to pay you monthly to do this until you encouraged me, Gail, you need to start coaching. I was like, why does anybody want to listen to me? Right? I
Yeah.
always feel like I need to get in a bigger room, right? And
So good.
for
And
us
your
to
coach right
collapse,
now is a well-known person or not very well known?
yeah, no, Ed Milet.
Yeah. Ed
And believe
Milet's
me,
well known. I mean, he is
yeah.
one of the top coaches on the planet. And I applaud you for getting in that space and paying to play.
Oh yeah, it's a big fat check every month. If my husband knew, he'd be
Yeah,
so
right. Some things
if
it's
he
do
had
not,
any
don't
idea.
ask, don't tell. Yeah, for sure.
But the reason I do that is because it's yeah, I like to be scared, right? Like
Yeah.
when he tells me you're going to start a podcast, you're going to speak more. I think I suck when I speak. I'm nervous. I
Yeah.
don't eat for 4 days. I don't sleep.
Right.
But you know what? When you make it about them, Randy, because you gave me good advice, Gail, it's not about you, it's about them. If you could make it about them, how you're going to help, just like you're talking to somebody one on one,
Yeah.
get over it. It's so, and you're worried, what are people going to think if you suck, right? If you suck, you suck,
Yeah.
right? It's funny because Ed was telling me, he goes, Gail, he goes, I sucked last week. He just did an event. He goes, I
Yeah.
suck. He goes,
Right.
I just didn't have it. He goes, you're going to suck in the beginning, right? And so any agent that's listening to this, you are going to suck when you first start implementing some of the things that Randy and I are going to share with you,
Yeah.
right?
Or you get
But
out of your comfort zone.
repetition, it's just putting in the reps, putting
Yeah.
in the reps. And believe me, it's like, I wish I could turn my mind off, right? But,
Oh, I know.
I wish I could. It's like,
It's Sunday and I got up at 4:20. I just woke up, my brain turns on. I tap the little nightstand clock to see what it says. And I'm like, once my brain turns on, man, I'm inspired. I'm
right.
moving. I'm just building bridges. I'm building, skyscrapers and I'm dreaming. And
I love
that's a
that.
beautiful thing when you're like that in your life. Well, Gail, we're going to have many more conversations about this. I love it. We're going to dig into some. I already have a bunch of questions. I can go for 3 hours with you right here and now. It's Sunday, and we decided to just launch this because we're
It's okay.
action
I have
takers.
I have my depends on. Let's go. Let's go.
And we
No.
should have probably started the podcast with this. Please warn your children if you're listening to this podcast in the car on the way to school. This is probably not a age appropriate podcast
That's
because
true.
we're both real. She's an easy rider, Harley girl, drops an F bomb now and then. I'm half hood, half holy, raised in the inner city. I was a little hoodlum. I went in the military and they snapped me around, but I got the sailor mouth that I can't get rid of. I'm a contractor for years. I do my best. I'm a God fearing. We're both God fearing Christian people.
Amen.
But amen. But with that, God wants me to be myself because if I'm somebody I'm not, then I'm not living my full purpose and my full life. And I don't do it on purpose. I'm not Gary Vee, but I'm going to drop what drops and I'm going to be what you see
Yeah.
is what you get. And if that doesn't track with you, tune the F out. It's okay. There's a
Great.
lot of other things out there, but the people that do track with it, I think that really is going to be inspiring for a lot of people to live their true self, live their true worth. This is why people don't get on video. And we're going to talk a lot about video in the future because that is the future of real estate, both from Gail's done it, making it happen, top producer, proven, and my coaching theology that I've been doing for over 10 years that you have to get on video. You have to become the mayor of your area and you have to be running for mayor always for reelection. That's the temperament that we want to have. But as we end this, Gail, I love you so much. I appreciate you. I value you. I respect you. I know you feel the same. You've said that to nauseum,
No, I don't.
but
No.
yeah, exactly. But I'm very excited about this. I think this is the first true natural connection of two people on an entrepreneur podcast specifically to, and kind of anchored by the real estate business. But I have contractors that are coaching clients. I have business owners. I have CEOs because they're like, I need to find out how to scale and connect and grow and build systems and support, and leverage is a big one, right? EXP is all about leverage. That's why I chose it as a vehicle. It has passive leverage, it has stock leverage, it has time leverage. But I'm excited
And
about the future.
Randy, you mentioned Gary V. He's going to be at our Salt Lake City
That's
EXP
exactly right.
con.
He's going to be with us. I don't even know the date of
And
that.
you
That
and I have like 20 extra passes,
that is
right?
October 3rd and 4th. We
That's
do have
right.
20 people we can invite for free if you're not in the EXP system. If you're in the EXP system, you have to pay. But guests, they have a what's it called? A flex pass or guest pass now where you can invite
Something like
guests.
that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, all you have to do is just hit us back, DM. Both of us are very reachable. By the way, how can people get a hold of you if they want you, Gail? And I'll put it on the podcast as well. But how can they get a hold of you? What's the easiest
Yeah.
way?
The best way is the phone, 904-640-8000.
I
I'm
love
old
that.
school.
I
Pick
love
up the
that.
phone.
Yeah, my best way is to go to my virtual assistant in the Philippines. Press three twice. No, I'm just kidding. You could find me in all social medias at Coach Randy Byrd. That's Coach Randy Byrd with a Y, Byrd. Or my phone number, direct cell. We don't fuck around. 541-570-5777. And that's the real deal. That's what this is all about. We thought
Yeah,
about calling it The Real Deal, but there's already a podcast called The Real Deal. So ours is the Agentpreneur Podcast. Gail DeMarco,
love
I
it.
love you. Thank you for
Love you
being
too.
here.
Thank you for
Much
even
more to
considering.
I can already think of the next 5 podcasts because of all the content we touched on today. We're going to dig into. So if you want to get in the lives of the rich and shameless, join us. She's the rich one. I'm shameless. We're going to have a good time.
I was rich
Yeah, right.
till my mother
Yeah.
moved in. All right. We'll talk
Hey,
to you
I
soon.
appreciate you.